Señoras y señores, el himno de la Confederación Mundial de Béisbol y Softball.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Baseball5 World Cup Mexico City 2022. Señoras y señores, sean bienvenidos a esta primera Copa Mundial de Baseball5. A continuación, el partido por la discusión de la medalla de bronce entre los equipos de China, Taipei y Venezuela. A continuación le presentamos a ambos conjuntos. Comenzamos con el equipo visitador Chinese Taipei. Con el número 17, Tu Yao Hao. Con el número 24, Xu Shun. Con el número 47, Jin Shi Tin Hao. Con el número 7, Lin Xin. Y con el número 15, Lin Sheyun. Estos son los 5 titulares. Los Five. Los suplentes. Con el número 23, Cao Ye. Con el número 5, Cao Chi Jin. Y con el número 6, Lin Yu Xiao. El manager, Cao Jun. A continuación, le presentamos al equipo de Venezuela. Aquí tengo el line-up de Venezuela en mis manos. Con el número 7, Peter Jiménez. Con el número 4, Álvaro Gil. Con el número 1, Joelis Colina. Con el número 6, Luis Márquez. Con el número 5, Esquia Rigel. Estos son los 5. Los Five. Suplente, Jordaniel Sánchez con el número 8. Valery Torres con el número 3. Y con el número 2, Lauren Vázquez. El manager, Zorrilla. Presentado Venezuela. Esto es fiesta, 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 fiesta. Es el Baseball 5. A continuación, los imparciales, los que van a impartir justicia en este encuentro por la medalla de bronce. En el home play, Jason Bell de Sudáfrica. En primera base, Sujewa Sirigampoloe de Sri Lanka. En segunda base, José Caballero de México. Ya te pusimos ya para México. Eso dice aquí. Ya, es mexicano casi. El juez cubano que tiene tanto en su corazón a México que dice que ya es mexicano. Pero ¿cómo es eso? Y está en segunda base. En tercera, Pablo Muñoz de México. En la mesa, Mauricio Alcaraz de México. En el scoreboard, Jesús Chávez de México. Oficial de los asistentes, Rubén Baena de México. El oficial del equipo visitador, Mohamed Absalem del Reino de Arabia Saudita. Y de los home club, Karim Mehiri de Túnez. Aquí no se puede ir nada, con tantos oficiales. Venga. Todo está listo, señoras y señores. Por favor, todos de pie, descúbranse sus cabezas. A continuación, el himno nacional de Chinese Taipei. Ahora el himno nacional de Venezuela.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to El Zócalo in Mexico City as we get set to begin the first of the last two games at the WBSC Baseball5 World Cup. The first ever Baseball5 World Cup being staged at this iconic venue, and two great matchups ahead of us this evening. The first for the bronze medal between Venezuela and Chinese Taipei. This will be the table setter for the main event later on tonight, the World Championship final between Cuba and Japan. We'll talk a little bit about the World Championship final as this game rolls along, but for now, let's focus on the matter at hand. Two really good teams set to face one another in this best-of-3 series. The games themselves, the matches within the game, 5 innings apiece. This may go the distance as these two teams are very evenly matched. There's a look at our international umpiring crew, who in Baseball5 are called officials. Our officials feature Jason Bell from South Africa, Sujiwa Sirigampolaje from Sri Lanka, Jose Caballero from Cuba, Pablo Garcia from Mexico, and Mauricio Alcaraz from Mexico as well. You just had a quick peek at the tournament bracket. This tournament beginning Monday night with a fantastic opening ceremony in front of the Presidential Palace, and now ready to reach its conclusion. The Venezuelan national team rolled through the opening round going 5-0 on its way to leaving Group B as the undefeated champion, but Venezuela hit something of a speed bump yesterday, going 0-2 on the first day of Super Round play. They righted the ship with a win over Mexico earlier this afternoon, and now we are underway, and an uncharacteristic defensive mistake from Venezuela to get it started. Tu Yu Hao hit the ball right up the middle, and it was thrown over the head of first baseman Esquia Rangel. And there is a runner on second after just one swing of the arm. We'll do our best to introduce you to Baseball 5. If this is your first time watching, welcome to El Zócalo. The batter here, Chu Chun for Chinese Taipei. The throw's going to go to third. And now to second, safe at second base, second and third with nobody out for Chinese Taipei. Looking like they are ready to build a first inning lead. 5 players active for each team. It's a requirement in Baseball 5 that there be at least 2 players of each gender on the field at all times. The way that Chinese Taipei elects to pen the lineup today puts Tu Yu Hao on top, Chu Chun second. They're both on base for Chi Ting Hua. He hits it to second. That bounces off the hands of Alvaro Hill, and 2-run score. Just like that, 2-0 Chinese Taipei. I don't think Venezuela has played defense this poor at any point in the tournament. That's 3 balls that could have easily resulted in outs. Instead, 3 straight base runners and a quick lead for the Baseball 5 Asia Cup champions, Chinese Taipei. Now a line drive dropped and safe at first. You've got to be kidding me. Venezuela, 4 straight plays that could have been made, and they haven't made a single one. Chinese Taipei with the 2-0 lead, 2 runners aboard, and the 5th batter in the lineup will be Lin Chi Yu. It was Lin Chi that just lined it up the middle and thought for sure we were going to see a catch from Pither Jimenez. He went down to his right. And now Venezuela considering moving their players around. Shocking start to this bronze medal game. We're going to have a visit from the medical team, and this is probably going to help Venezuela settle down. No doubt there are some jitters ahead of this really important affair, and in front of the sold-out crowd, the unexpected has already happened. Here comes Lin Chi Yu. She has blazing speed for Chinese Taipei, and we'll see if she elects to play a move 'em over ball. That'll be tough to do with Jimenez so close to home plate. This one's lined to first, and that's a huge first out of the inning for Venezuela. 4 straight base runners, but now 1 out, and maybe things will start to settle down for this Venezuelan national team. Hard ball to the right, caught on a fly. The idea there to try and double up Chi Ting Hua, but he never left the square at second base. That sinking liner, really nice catch. And 2 quick outs after the 4 straight base runners. Here's Chu Chun for the second time. Surveys the defensive alignment, hits it hard, gets through left side, but a good play off the carom. Gets the force out at second to end the inning. So all things considered, a pretty good result for Venezuela. They allowed just the 2 runs to come across. And we'll see if Chinese Taipei has a similar start in terms of the nerves out there defensively. Probably does help to be the road team for this instance, which is a funny thing to say, but it's true. You'd almost rather be the first team that bats than the first team that fields. So much pressure on the defense in Baseball 5. And now with the bounce, the ball goes to Pither Jimenez. And I think he started prematurely, and we're just going to pretend that didn't happen. It'll be Jimenez, then Alvaro Hill, Yoelis Colina, Luis Marquez, and Esquia Rengel. You can see the emotions already factoring into this game. Jason Bell, the home plate official, bounces it into the batter's box. And we'll restart the bottom of the first inning with a blast and a diving catch at short. Chu Chun, highlight reel play for the first out of the bottom of the first inning. It's not a very forgiving surface, this plastic court. You know when you go down with a dive, you're gonna feel it. And there's a knockdown on the short hop, throw to first, not in time. You have almost 0 time to recover if you bobble the initial chance. That was a bobble, and that's probably why you saw the underhand toss from Tu Yu Hao. See if Chinese Taipei can get the lead runner here. That's always the hope, and they will. And on to first, nearly a double play. Credit the hustle from Colina to keep the first inning alive. Again, if you're new to the game, you probably get the idea by now. It moves very quickly. We get through these 5 innings sometimes in as little as 15, 20 minutes. Powerful hitter here, Luis Marquez. Moves around in the box, puts it in play right side. It's going to deflect right to the second base square. And that'll be the out that ends the first inning. 2-0 Chinese Taipei after the first inning. Notice I called it the second base square. The bases are not elevated on a Baseball 5 court the way they are on a baseball or softball field. They are that standout white color. Some of the other differences, the distance between bases, just 13 meters. Once you put the ball in play, you go into a dead sprint for those 13 meters and hope to beat the throw over to first. There's a ground ball up the middle. Colina, again, if you make any kind of defensive mistake, you're very unlikely to record the out at first base. And that was a well-struck ball by Shi-Chi Ting-Hua. Perhaps the most fundamental difference between Baseball 5 and traditional baseball and softball is that the game is played without a pitcher or a catcher. The defense doesn't start the action, the offense does. And every time the offensive player gets bounced the ball by the home plate official, we get ready for some type of action play. There are no foul balls, no second chances if you don't put it where you want the first time. Runner on first, 1 out, a softly hit ball, a short hop, picked up and sent to second for the force out. That's where the game looks similar to baseball and softball. Double plays on line drives occur the same way. If the runner takes off and you catch a line drive, you can throw behind the runner to get a double play. It's far more common, as a matter of fact, to see a double play that way than a traditional baseball or softball style ground ball double play. And that final out is another one of the biggest differences. You don't want to hit it over the wall. There are no home runs in Baseball 5, at least not that way. And we have seen no home runs in this tournament. We've seen a couple of triples, balls that bounced around enough that players started in the batter's box, wound up on third. But if it goes over the wall on a fly, it's an out. If it hits the wall on a fly, it's an out. And if the defense makes the play to first in time, the batter's out as well. Eskia Renhel, her first plate appearance. That one sidearm tossed off the back of our first base official. That might have been a break for Tuyu Hao. If it hadn't hit the back of Sujiwa Sirigampolaje, then it might have gone right out of play, which would have awarded Renhel an extra base. Here's Jimenez. He taps it with all the defenders back deep. Good recovery, though. Tough play. And it was bang, bang, but the out recorded. Renhel moves to second. The 2 runs in the game coming in the top of the first inning. Alvaro Hill, safe at first. Runners on the corners, tying run aboard for a Venezuela team that played Mexico earlier this afternoon. That game started at 1 o'clock local time, and it didn't go very well for Venezuela to start. They fell behind Mexico, and they trailed Mexico into the 5th inning of the opening match. It was 2-1. As this ball is bounced fair and then dropped, so there won't be an out as the run scores. And Venezuela cuts the Chinese Taipei lead in half. The Venezuela team that trailed Mexico 2-1 into the 5th inning earlier today scored twice in the bottom of the 5th to walk it off in the opening match. And it was really a backbreaker for Mexico. Venezuela came out to start the second match, scored 6 runs in the first inning, went on to win that one by a final of 9-0. Good play there to get the out at first. Second and third now with 2 outs. Exciting setup in the bottom of the second inning. And here's Renhel, who started the inning by reaching. That one through. Bounces off both of the back corner walls as we get tied up at 2. Couldn't have placed it any better. What an inning for Esquia Rengel, who's 5th in the order for Venezuela. Now they'll look to take the lead with Peter Jimenez at the top of the lineup. A few bounces. That's a risky move to bounce it that many times in the box. Nice stop by Tu Yu Hao. And Chinese Taipei able to strand 2 runners for Venezuela. Through 2 innings, it's 2-2. And we'll move to the 3rd. This is pretty much what we expected in this matchup. 2 really solid teams. They finished the super round with identical 3-2 records. The tune-up game for Chinese Taipei didn't go as well as Venezuela's game against Mexico. Though Venezuela's game meant something, Chinese Taipei's didn't. They knew they were going to be in this bronze medal game. They just didn't know who their opponent would be. Took on Cuba, the powerhouse of this tournament. Lost the first match 8-0, lost the second match 8-3, which may not sound good, but that's a really good outcome against a really strong Cuban team. That's about as close as anybody's played Cuba in the tournament. Again, at 7 o'clock local time, we'll have Cuba and Japan for the title of world champion. The batter, Shi Chi-ting-hua, making a lot of fans this week in Mexico City, though. That's a fair ball off the wall. He's out. And back to first for Chu Chun. Just lost control of that one. You could tell right as the palm met the ball that it was going to go sailing into the wall for an out. Here's Lin Chi, the first baseman for Chinese Taipei. Hits it on the ground. The flip to second, force out there. 2 down, top 3. And the speedy Lin Chi-yu. Venezuela moving their defenders around more than I've seen almost any team do it at any point in the tournament. You don't get the same look twice from this group tonight, and I think that's a great strategy. And they really seem to have settled in after a rocky start, and they'll come up in the bottom of the 3rd with a chance to take the lead. We'll look at Chinese Taipei get into their defensive alignment in the bottom half of this 3rd inning and see if they stay in place throughout the inning. It's Lin Chi at first, Lin Che-yu at second. Up the middle, Tu Yu Hao. Chu Chun at short. Shi Chi-ting-hua over at 3rd. There's the bouncer. And an easy play for Tu Yu Hao. I say an easy play. There aren't any easy plays in Baseball 5, but he made that one look easy. The ball weighs 85 grams. It's somewhere in size between a squash ball and a tennis ball. It's made of rubber, has a lot of bounce, and that one bounces straight off the wall for an out. Polina goes down after Hill bounced out. So 2 quick ones, and here's Marquez. Luis Marquez, part of a pretty violent collision at 3rd in the game with Mexico, stayed in the game, and the out at first base. You may have noticed that Chu Chun bounced the ball across the diamond. That was a fine play, and Chinese Taipei goes to that bounce throw more than any other team in the tournament. And the serious advantage to bouncing it is that it's easier for the first base player to catch it. We were out practicing yesterday, and catching a hard thrown Baseball 5 ball is really difficult. It has a tendency to bounce off your hand. Here's a good push, first base side, and a leadoff runner aboard in Tu Yu Hao. But when you bounce it as a defender, you give that first baseman a chance to use soft hands. First baseman will often pull that bounce ball in like an infielder would, bringing both hands in together, which is a much better way to try and catch a bouncing rubber ball. Ooh, is that a barehanded stab? But then the throw to first will allow the runner to advance. Those are some of my favorite plays. Those barehanded, one-handed catches. I say barehanded, they're all barehanded. There's no gloves anywhere near the field. And then the throw across to first base left a little something to be desired, and that's when the advance happened for Tu Yu Hao. So a leadoff single, the line drive, and effectively a tag on the throw. Tag up, moving to second. Getting into the late innings of the opening match of this best-of-3 series. The first match tied at 2, and that squirts through the legs. The throw home, not in time. And there's the touch of home plate. The ball goes out of play and on to third for Shi Ting-hua, the rare triple. Obviously the result of the ball being thrown home. Another error up the middle for Colina. She's had trouble with a couple of bounding balls. And a great chance for Chinese Taipei to add another run to what's now a 3-2 lead. Two infielders drawn in very close, and everybody will be safe. Hill's first look was home, and if you look at one base and decide not to throw it there, you almost never have time to then adjust and go to first. Baseball 5, a game of instincts more than anything else. Hard hit ball towards third, and they get the force out. Lin Che-yu replaces Lin Chi at first base. Second 2-run lead for Chinese Taipei in the game, but lots of time left for Venezuela. They have 6 outs to play with. Tu Yu Hao bouncing that one, and there's a tag to end the inning. The fans who have traveled from Taiwan very happy with what they're seeing. Chinese Taipei hasn't trailed in the game, and we'll see that good Chinese Taipei defense here. They'll have to come up big to preserve this lead against a powerful offensive club in Venezuela. Standing room only in front of the Presidential Palace in Mexico City. A little pop-up and a catch made by Lin Che-yu. You might think that that's a silly play in Baseball 5, and it's certainly not the highest percentage play, but the pop-up has worked for a number of players in this tournament. Balls that get lifted just high enough over the head of the defenders that they don't make the catch, and then they fall just short of the wall, take a little short hop into the wall. This is a high-level game. Look how hard this was hit. And just using the body, Tu Yu Hao knocked it down, made the play to first, 2 outs, bases empty. Hill sends it to second, and that'll be a base runner for Venezuela with 2 outs in the last of the 4th. Here's Yoelis Colina. She'll go to third. And across the diamond for the out, that retires the side and sends us to the 5th. It's Baseball 5. This is the last inning of the opening match in the best-of-3 series. It's a very physically demanding game, and these two teams have been playing 2 games a day since Tuesday, oftentimes in the hot sun. And we have a new fielder coming in for Venezuela. Up the middle, it'll be Valerie Torres taking over for Colina in that spot near the second base bag where we have seen a couple of balls squirt through. That's the only defensive change ahead of this last inning. Chu Chun hits it up the middle, a diving stop. Great effort, but a leadoff hit. A run or 2 would be awfully big for Chinese Taipei. We've seen these two teams score 2 runs at a time. The little bunt hit, safe at first. It was an underhand scoop toss, but that was just smart Baseball 5. The power hitter, Shi Ting-hua, noticed that all the defenders respected the power in his right arm and were playing back deep. And he said, okay, if you're going to give it to me, I'm just going to tap it across that 4.5-meter no-hit zone line. And now the two base runners with none out. Lin Chi. Now she deals with two infielders who have come close. Hits it underneath one of them. And that will load the bases for Chinese Taipei with nobody out. Big smile from Chu Chun. That's a big part of the game, playing with a smile. We'll talk about that more tonight with Japan. That's their team motto. And they live up to it, most certainly. Now with the bases loaded, the ball thrown home. And the call is out, and that's a great call because coming down the third base line, Chu Chun missed home plate. So though he raced by home plate before the dish had been stepped on, he didn't correct himself. Watch this. He runs by home plate, and there was the tap. Great play. That was a really good hit, too. But now one gets through, and that scores a run. Chinese Taipei now with a 5-2 lead. I'm going to call that position A, that little seam between the second base square and the second base defender. It's an incredible spot to put the ball. Still bases loaded. Chu Chun hits it in that same spot. Torres, though, was expecting it. Tags out to Yu Hao, but a run comes in and the lead goes up to 4 for Chinese Taipei. They continue to score 2 runs at a time. This is the 3rd inning in which they've scored 2 runs. The first, the 3rd, and now the 5th. 2 in scoring position. Big moment for Shi Chi-ting Hua. And that goes off the hand of the drawn-in Jimenez. 2-run score, throw to second. Safe at second, and Chinese Taipei starting to run away with it here in the top of the 5th inning. 8-2. There was the throw to the plate, but nobody there to cover. The fans from Taiwan loving it. Now ball hit left side, throw to first is off the mark. Another run scores, 9-2 Chinese Taipei. That was really the first misplayed ball by Venezuela. It's not as if they've been melting down out there in the top of the 5th inning. It's just a case of Chinese Taipei finding the seams. And they're in a fantastic position to lock up this opening match. And there's the catch to end the top of the 5th inning. But a tough one for Venezuela. 5 come across for Chinese Taipei. And now we go into the bottom of the 5th, the last chance for Venezuela. Of course, we will wipe the scoreboard clean and start with a couple of zeros after the conclusion of this opening match, but it'll be really tough to take 2 in a row from Chinese Taipei, as fundamentally sound as they are. Luis Marquez. There's that same defensive alignment for Chinese Taipei. And a good leadoff bounce on the right side. The middle infielders play deep. The corner infielders play essentially right next to their squares. The midfield man to Yu Hao on the Kanade logo. And there's the sidearm toss to first for the out. You oftentimes don't have any time to set your feet and make a throw. So sometimes you just want to pop it in the direction that you're throwing it. The lights shining down on the bottom of the 5th inning. And a ball bobbled at second. 2 in scoring position for Venezuela. It's not as if the team down by 7 runs coming into this inning is just rolling over and accepting it as a foregone conclusion that they're going to come up short in this opening match. But that ball went off the wall on a fly and out the call hill put it in a good spot, but he hit it about a foot too far. And so now with 2 away, we see Torres line out to end it. Chinese Taipei takes the opening match of the best-of-3 series, 9-2 the final score. Pretty convincing win for the Baseball5 Asia Cup champions. Venezuela will have to play a near-perfect game the rest of the way. They'll have to win 2 straight matches, which nobody's done against Chinese Taipei except Cuba in this tournament, and they've done it to everybody. We'll take a short break, come back with the second match. Chinese Taipei 5 innings away from taking home the bronze medals in the first ever WBSC Baseball 5 World Cup.
Welcome to Baseball5 World Cup, Mexico City 2022. Vamos a probar las manos. Vamos a probar la gente buena aquí de Ciudad. Se queda con la pelota. Vamos. Al final se queda con la gente de México, se queda con la pelota. Vamos a Venezuela, vamos a Venezuela, vamos a Venezuela. Al final, vamos a Venezuela.
The sun setting in Mexico City on this beautiful Saturday. The sun setting on the inaugural Baseball5 World Cup. This the penultimate game of this World Cup, with the World Championship final to follow just over an hour from now. Chinese Taipei took the opener, and with a really good ball, almost a leadoff hit for Tu Yu Hao to start the second match in this best-of-3 series. But the out call made, and a great call there on a bang-bang play. They're all bang-bang plays at first base. If you talk to the officials, they'll tell you that's the hardest position to work in this game. Now bounding ball gets through on the left side. Chu Chun on with 1 out. A new defensive alignment for Venezuela. Yoelis Colina comes back into the game. She's at third, though. She was up the middle in the opening match. Esquia Rengel is at first. Hill locked in as the second baseman, playing all the way back nearly to the wall. Ball sent to short, it's dropped, and they'll still get the force out. So really the same net outcome as if the ball had been caught. Pither Jimenez comes in tight with Lin Chi batting with 2 outs and 1 on. She hits it on the ground. Colina the nice play, and then the underhand toss to Luis Marquez. Side retired in the first. A better start defensively for Venezuela. They were really playing from behind the entire top half, or the entire first match, I should say, giving up the 2 runs in the top half of the first inning. See if they can take a lead. It's a very different game to play with a lead. Jimenez ready to lead us off in the bottom of the first. And he'll reach. This game not unfamiliar to Venezuelans. been played there for years. They didn't call it Baseball 5. It was always Pelotica de Goma, little rubber ball. And now a throw to first for the out. One down, on to second for Jimenez. Hill probably would have liked a little bit more out of that, but he's happy with the result, moving his teammate into scoring position. Here is Colina. She pops it first base side, gets tagged out, and then two players converge at home plate for Chinese Taipei. They don't have to worry about the base runner, they just have to worry about making the play over to first, and we'll go to the second inning scoreless. Luis Marquez. Big moment for him. Diving stop to Yu Hao, over to first in time for the out. Got it there on a hop. The good stretch from Lin Chi. And we are scoreless after one. That was a fantastic play. And Venezuela will take the field. They're going to stick with the new defensive alignment that has Colina at third. We having fun yet or what with game number 49 at this Baseball 5 World Cup? Here's a ball grounded to Colina. She doesn't bounce it. She'll toss it hard across the diamond and get the out. Now the batter to Yu Hao. Not his best turn in the batter's box. Hit it straight at Marquez. Marquez has traded places with Jimenez. Jimenez has been the guy who traditionally goes up tight. Marquez, though, is the one playing up the middle in front of the second base square. Chun looking to extend the second inning, and he will. That's a tough ball to grab. The hard line drive about ankle height, because you don't want to step out of the way. It's not going to hit the wall on a fly. You have to go down and get it. And if you don't have time to make the throw over to first. So here's Shi Chi Ting Hua. He taps it, and again, they respect his speed, and he's safe at first. Oh no, he's been ruled out for leaving the box before the ball crossed the 4.5 meter line. That was really close. It's the toughest call for an official to make. I don't know if that was the right call in this instance. But the call that was made, the call that will stand, and will go to the bottom of the second. Still scoreless in the second match in the best of 3 series. Talking a little bit about how they got here. Chinese Taipei won the Baseball 5 Asia Cup, which took place a few weeks ago in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. They beat Japan in the championship game. That one went the distance, all 3 matches. Won the opener 3-2, lost the next game 5-2. And then it went into extra innings. That's when Chinese Taipei beat Japan 12-9. The game ended on a triple play. Here's Jimenez. He hits it to third, and they get the force out of the lead runner, Renhel. This might be a middle match of whoever makes the first mistake defensively is going to come up short, because both teams looking so crisp. Hill hits it up the middle. What a stab, and on to first for the double play. To Yu Hao made it look easy again. Until you've held a Baseball 5 ball and had it smacked at you, you just don't realize how hard it is to catch it. And the other part of that is that no matter who smacks it at you when you're playing around with it, they're not smacking it as hard as these players here at the World Cup. We've been talking about potentially in future editions putting some sort of radar gun to see just how hard these balls are coming out of the batter's box. That was a real sizzler, and to Yu Hao, it's a combination of strength of the hands and reflexes to pull the hands in, the soft hands motion from baseball. And we start the top of the third with a bouncer back up the middle for out number 1. Marquez making it look so easy. It's not. And now a really tough play. and he throws it out of play. Lin Chi-yu comes up big in that spot for her team. Gets to second with 1 out. Look for Tu Hao to try and find that spot up the middle between the second base square and the second base player, Alvaro Hill. It's tough to get it by the drawn-in Marquez. He bounces it, Marquez knocks it down, throw to first, not in time, and it bounces past first base. Both runners advance, second and third with 1 out. Chinese Taipei looking poised to take the first lead of the middle match. As the sun sets here on El Zócalo, they start to lower the iconic, massive Mexican flag that sits in the center of the square. That flag that flies atop a 106-meter flagpole that weighs 230 kilograms. It takes a team of uniformed military folks to lower the flag. And as they bring it down, Venezuela falls behind by 1. The throw goes to second, and Chinese Taipei doubles the lead. It's 2-0. You almost never see a defensive team make that throw to second base because it just opens up the door for the runner from third to dash down the line. That was a mental lapse from the first baseman, Renhel. As soon as she decided to throw to second with a runner on third, she basically gave up another run. So 2-0 Chinese Taipei. Shi Chi-ting-hua batting with the bases empty. They did get the out at second, but in this case, in this moment, that's not a good trade to make. Venezuela has not led at any point in this game. Trailed 2-0 in the first match, came back, tied it at 2, only to have Chinese Taipei pull ahead 4-2 and then win it 9-2. And there was a bounce out in front of the line. One of the handful of ways that a batter can get themselves out is to bounce it in front of that line that stretches from the first base line to the third base line. And so we go to the bottom of the third. Chinese Taipei scoring 1 early and then taking advantage of a defensive miscue. Yoelis Colina, she'll lead off. And she'll bounce it short of the line. 1 out to start the home half of the third. Big group of fans from Venezuela here. They're behind their team's bench on the third base line. Haven't had a lot to cheer about in this game. Boy, does this game look great on a screen. And a line drive towards second will give Venezuela a base runner. I mean, that shot right there from behind first base, that tells you everything you need to know about the future of this game. There's a bright future. It can be played in some of the most iconic spots in the world. Here's a pop out to second. Good idea by Lin Chi-yu to catch it instead of chancing it. She could have stepped out of the way. The ball probably would have hit the wall, but it had some serious spin. There's a chance it could have sunk down, landed before the wall. That would have been big trouble. Marquez would have been on his way to third, maybe even home. And now Marquez stops at second. He slid past the square, gets back up and gets on it. And the throw to first was not in time, nor was it held by Lin Chi. Still though, Chinese Taipei with 2 outs in the bottom of the third inning. They just need to make 1 play and have a force at every base except home plate. Alvaro Hill, big hitter, hits it on a line, up the middle, throw goes home, and the batter was ruled out by stepping out of the batter's box. Even if that call hadn't been made, which it was, but even if it hadn't, it looked like Chinese Taipei got it together and was going to get the out at the plate, tagging Marquez as he stepped on home plate. Oh, that would have been close, but there you see Jason Bell saying, no, the batter had their foot cross over the line, and that's why the batter was out. If any part of your foot leaves the black in the batter's box, even just a toe on the white line, it's the home plate official's job to call it an out. Bouncing ball to third, and 1 out to start the top of the fourth. Not surprised to see Chinese Taipei playing a near perfect game. They've had a terrific run through this tournament. On the ground, nice play from deep in the hole at short by Jimenez. Chinese Taipei beat Korea in the opener, 8-1, 3-love. That was on Tuesday morning. And then when these two teams met on Tuesday night, as a line drive ends the top of the fourth, Chinese Taipei lost in 3 sets. Venezuela took the opener 2-0. Chinese Taipei took the second 4-2, with Venezuela taking the third, and with it the game, the score in the third match 5-3. So this a highly anticipated rematch. The only other loss for Chinese Taipei came this morning against Cuba. No surprise there. Nobody's really been able to challenge Cuba yet. That ball hit the line. The underhand flip to first, gets the out. Good idea by Colina. Tinghua was playing pretty deep. Came in hard, but they get so much on those underhand throws. And that's by design. They've been practicing those. Venezuela running out of time, just 5 outs left to play with. And there's a liner that goes over the wall, 2 gone. You know, it's a game to be played with a smile, but look at these two teams. There's so much concentration and effort being exerted that doesn't leave a lot of time to smile, though with 4 more outs, you'll see some broad smiles for the players from Chinese Taipei. And how do you like that? 2 in a row go over the wall for Venezuela. This team needs to play a perfect defensive inning and then find offense in a way that they haven't been able to yet in the second match. 2-0 Chinese Taipei, hoping to bring home bronze, potentially with a shutout. This game's speeding right along. It's only 45 minutes old, but we're in the 5th inning. This could be it. World Championship Finals scheduled to start an hour and 15 minutes from now, 7 o'clock local time. Tinghua climbs into the batter's box. Assumes the stance, hits it hard. Colina picks it, but then a bobble at first. Valerie Torres, who's become a defensive specialist for Venezuela, coming in the late innings, not able to squeeze that hard throw. And you know what? Looking at that replay, even if she had squeezed it, I think that out would have been the call. And now out's the call on Lin Chi for leaving the box early. 2-0 Chinese Taipei looking to build. Scoring twice in the 3rd inning. Might be enough. And a misplay for Lin Chi Yu. Yeah, she didn't hit that one well, but you know what? She started the rally in the 3rd inning that led to the 2 runs coming out of the 5 slot in the batting order. Now with 2 away, to Yu Hao. Great get by Marquez, who goes to first for the out that ends the top of the 5th, and this is it. It's winning time for Chinese Taipei if they're able to record 3 outs, allowing 1 run or none. Venezuela can force a bottom of the 5th with 2 or more runs. And Venezuela as a team will get together in the huddle. Break in the huddle, leading off. It'll be the top of the order, Pither Jimenez. A cool breeze picks up. Temperature really drops once the sun goes down here in Mexico City. Jimenez hits it right side. There's the play from Lin Chi Yu. Made it look easy, took it on a hop, and then the sidearm toss. And I think there was a little frustration let out at the end of that play by Jimenez. He was just warned. He kind of punched the wall, which is a hard thing to avoid doing because you're going with such speed. It was out of the frame there, but it's really hard to stop yourself in time. So even if you do punch the wall, sometimes it's just out of self-preservation. But this is not looking good for Venezuela. Down to their last out, Chinese Taipei, one play away from winning the bronze. Yoelis Colina, the batter. She exhales, puts it in play. Boy, did she hit it hard. Might have been the hardest ball she's hit all night. She's on first. And you're going to see the best of the best here from Venezuela. Luis Marquez, he's got a rocket. See where he aims it. Hits it left side, off the wall. He'll reach. Tying run is on for Venezuela. 2 straight base runners with 2 outs. Valerie Torres making her first appearance in the batter's box in this second match. Chinese Taipei took the opener 9-2. They lead 2-0 here. Ball hit towards first. There's the flip, and Chinese Taipei is going to take home the bronze medals. In consecutive matches, they knock off Venezuela 9-2 and 2-0. And jubilation for the Asian champions, Chinese Taipei, as they back up that Asian championship with a bronze medal victory. And now the display of great sportsmanship, which is a fundamental piece of Baseball 5. The players from both sides get together and show each other some love. That was a lot of fun and a really tight second match. First match was tight too. Chinese Taipei pulled away with 5 runs in the 5th. And they get to play the victory music here and celebrate on the diamond in front of the sold-out crowd at El Zócalo. Congratulations, Chinese Taipei, and for Venezuela, no reason to hang their heads. An outstanding tournament that saw them go 5-0 in the group stage and come up just 2 runs short of forcing a third match in the bronze medal game. Well, much fun as that one was, we have one more for you, game number 50, just over an hour away. And that'll be between Cuba, who has not been beaten and really has not been challenged in this tournament, and a Japan team that is getting better and better with each passing day. We will bring that to you live on all of our WBSC outlets, and we look forward to bringing it to you live from El Zócalo an hour from now. Until then, for our entire WBSC family, Craig Durham saying so long from Mexico City, and congratulations to Chinese Taipei on winning the bronze.
Le pega con toda fuerza. El out.